Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Is President Obama destroying his own legacy? That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. It is simply inexplicable that Barack Obama would compare historical injustices by Christians 1,000 years ago to the current atrocities being committed by Muslim jihadists today. But that's exactly what the president yesterday at a prayer breakfast in Washington. The reaction predictable, president getting hammered nearly everywhere, except on the network news programs which chose not to cover the story. Well, today, the president's national security advisor, Susan Rice, gave a major speak at the Brookings Institution in Washington about the strategy to protect America and the world. According to Ms. Rice, the president believes that most threats can be defused by enlisting partners around the world to join together against the evildoers. But Ms. Rice completely avoided any definition of how to stop ISIS, for example, from committing daily atrocities. Instead, she said this.
While the dangers we face may be more numerous and varied, they are not of the existential nature we confronted during World War II or during the Cold War. We will always act to defend our country and its people, but we aim to avoid sending many thousands of ground forces into combat in hostile lands.
Well, that was the most specific thing, Ambassador Rice said, that American ground troops would not be confronting the terrorists because the threat they pose is, quote, not existential, meaning not an Armageddon-type situation. To me, Ambassador Rice is diminishing the terror issue. Certainly ISIS was an existential threat to the Jordanians set on fire, the Americans beheaded, and now we hear that Kayla Mueller, an American, was killed. The ISIS savages say by bombing, but, they probably killed her, right? Hitler was not an existential threat until 1938. To flail around while killer groups gain power, as ISIS has, is unwise to say the least. But the Obama administration apparently believes the bombing campaign and other secondary measures will eventually downgrade the ISIS savages. Meantime, thousands of people are dying, and thousands of people are plotting to come here to kill Americans. The rest of the speech was your standard issue. We're doing great. What's the problem? It's kind of bizarre, though, to hear Ambassador Rice refer to climate change as a strategic talking point. But hey, standard issue on the left, right? There was mention of universal values and international order, that kind of stuff, which means absolutely nothing. Summing up, President Obama believes that ISIS can be degraded without ground confrontation, that his policies in Iraq and Afghanistan have made the USA stronger, and that Iran will give up the nukes in the face of world pressure. That is what Barack Obama believes. And that is a memo. Now with the top story tonight reaction, joining us from Boston, Colonel David Hunt. From Washington, Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, both the Fox News analysts. Colonel Peters, what is the headline of Ambassador Rice's speech for you?
Secure, expand, defend, leverage. Her 4 points. Bill, that's not a strategy. It's a bumper sticker. I mean, it was really ridiculous. It was mush. The yogurt I had for breakfast had more intellectual structure. And she's talking about, I'm using my notes, secure U.S. allies, partners. Expand prosperity. 3, defend democracy. 4, leverage American leadership. There's no there.
Yeah, it's right.
Let me just say this: that you nailed it. That this was an exercise in self-congratulation. The message was, wow, we're doing so well, we're going to give you more of the same. And my barf factor soared when toward the end Susan Rice, speaking of the administration, called it our unparalleled leadership. This was not a strategy. America deserves better. And by the way, Islamic State deserves more than this.
Well, you know what was good about it, Colonel Hunt, is that now everybody knows. There's no debate anymore. The White House believes that they're doing a hell of a job. They're really, really kicking some serious butt around the world. Meantime, we see what we see. I I get a little upset when Ambassador Rice says, well, we have this coalition and we're going to join together. 90% of the ISIS bombing is being done by the USA. The Emirates bailed out because they didn't like the security that we were providing them. We're carrying the whole ball. 60 coalition nations, what are they doing? What? Nothing. Maybe they have 5 guys there standing around. So, do they live, in your opinion, Colonel Hunt, in an unreal world, a world of delusion, or do you think they have valid points?
I think anytime you give a speech that spends as much time on transgendered issues as it does terrorism, and it's a national security speech, you've got a real problem, and that's what we just had. The issue is 2 points. The United States is leading the world on the fight in terrorism. We want, obviously, more done. The issue is how to get more done, because the administration right now thinks it is doing it, and what's happening on the ground is stopping ISIS to a point, but nowhere near destroying it. If you want to destroy ISIS, as an example, you have to do it with soldiers on the ground, U.S., because nobody else can do it. Things like Jordan, country like Jordan can't make the move for 500 miles to Mosul without U.S. help.
Okay.
And we've got 3,000 guys on the ground already.
Well, I'm gonna appoint you. You're Ambassador Susan Wright, Colonel Peters, right now. All right, this is my magic wand. I just made you Ambassador Wright.
Okay, then.
I cited yesterday, Ms. Ambassador, all right, 2 reports, one from the United Nations and one from Amnesty International, that say girls ages 10 to 12 are being raped, tortured, and forced to marry ISIS savages, and that there are unparalleled atrocities going on in all the territory that ISIS covered. Okay? On your watch, Miss Ambassador, and on the President's watch, ISIS has gained thousands of square miles of territory, which mostly they hold. And every day, little girls are getting raped. And you're telling me that you believe somewhere down the line they'll be degraded or whatever. What about all the people who are suffering now? Do you have no responsibility for that? And you say, Ms. Ambassador?
Well, unfortunately, when you don't want to fight, when you're unwilling to send ground troops, nothing is going to happen. And it's this is such a sad thing, Bill, because the atrocities, the barbarism in the Middle East is so great. I mean, I can't respond to Susan Rice. I can't sink that
No, but
low.
do you think that she even thinks about that? Do they even care about that?
No, they don't care about it. They don't care about it. And I'll tell you what they don't care about. Now, I personally had no problem with Susan Rice mentioning the LGBT community and their human rights. I want decent human rights for all law-abiding,
but not
decent
in this
people.
speech. This is a national security speech.
But here's the key thing. Here's the key thing. They didn't mention the destruction of 2,000 years of Christian civilization. They didn't mention the burying little boys alive, the destruction of other minorities, the slaughter of Muslims, beheading children for watching soccer matches.
They don't seem to see that as an existential threat.
They don't care.
All right.
Well, your point about Nazi Germany was right. It is, it's 1933. Get ready for 38 and 39.
I believe the parallel is frightening. Okay, now I'm going to spend the next 90 seconds on the Pentagon. They're obviously embarrassed on the Bo Bergdahl front. We're going to have another report next week on that, whereas the Army won't publicly say what they're going to do, even though they know what they're going to do. They know what happened there. They won't say it publicly. So they're embarrassed. Are they embarrassed, Colonel Hunt, in your opinion, from talking to people that you know, about Americans' impotence in the face of ISIS, that ISIS does what they want and America can't seem to stop them? Does the Pentagon care? How do they feel about that?
There's 2 things. The Army is embarrassed about the Bergdahl incident internally, because of the way they've acted. That's a U.S. Army problem with some politics in this. As far as the ISIL, there's a strong argument about more to do from the Air Force particularly. But there isn't this hue and cry about we have to re-attack in Iraq. It's the point. The problem is they can't get the right definition out of the White House, which is destroy or
contain. Destroy or contain.
Detain now, yes. Destroy means soldiers on the ground, but nobody's arguing on either side of the aisle for American soldiers on the ground. And what I'm trying to say is this can't get done with any other army in the Middle East, because Turkey's not coming in, etc. It's got to be U.S. guys. And
30 seconds, Colonel Peters. Stop the music. Pentagon embarrassed over Bergdahl. is there any kind of groundswell
No.
of opposition about
Well,
ISIS?
yes. Well, first of all, they're not embarrassed about Bergdahl. They're cynical about it. The troops I know, the officers, they're just disgusted by it. They're repelled by this administration still playing politics by this. And by the way, President Obama, in his own selfishness and cynicism, has made private PFC, as far as I'm concerned, Bergdahl, the most hated guy in uniform. As far as the airstrikes go, cynicism again. They know Obama's not going to do something. They know it's not working. I mean, soldiers are cynical by nature. It's a pose
Yeah, I
you
know,
do.
I know.
But
I just
I've
didn't know
never
what
seen it
level
like
it's at.
this.
Okay.
It's a level I've never